good evening. Coronary artery disease. Dear friends, good evening. When we talk about a chronic stable angina or a coronary artery disease in India, we all know that it's increased in last 2 decades. In 1980, when we talk about a coronary artery disease incidence, it was only 5 to 7%. But in 2010, we are saying that it's almost 12 to 15% people are affected by CAD. And WHO is projecting that in the next 10 years, there will be almost 1 person after in a phone, 1 in 4, that is almost 25% people will be affected with the coronary artery disease. And as we all know that when we talk about coronary artery disease, it's a diabetes, hypertension, family history. These are the known risk factors which we all know. But in last decade or in next decade, it's going to be a massive coronary artery disease impact on our society. What has happened that it's changed such a scenario in India? So basically, it's a lifestyle which has changed our diet habits, exercise habits, and that has exaggerated the coronary artery disease in India. In 1980, when we used to say that in America it was almost 12 to 15%, and in 2010 they have brought down it to the 7 to 8%, and on opposite side in India it's increased to 12 to 15%. So we call it as a lifestyle diseases, and if we look at that in our genes, there is a propensity for a coronary artery disease, atherosclerotic disease, and with lifestyle changes we are seeing that more younger and younger patients are getting affected with a coronary artery disease. In this lifestyle, mainly dietary patterns have changed. More oils, more milk products are increased, or we can say that the white color products are increased, sugar, milk, oil, and our habit, fast food habits have changed. Pizza, burgers have been used in lot, butter, cheese use has been increased, and that's the reason for a dyslipidemia and causing the increase in the coronary artery disease. And as Indians, we are lazy people. We don't prefer to walk, and nowadays we all are using the scooters or cars for traveling anywhere. And the exercise, if you ask me, Hyderabad School of Nutrition said that it's only 2% of people all over India who do a regular exercise, otherwise other people are not doing it. And because of that, obesity has increased. They have claimed that it's more than 40% Indians are obese. So that body mass index, waist hip ratio, if you look at it, it's on higher side, and that's also one of the factors, major factor for a coronary artery disease. And in Indians, we say that the syndrome X is very common. So that in that borderline sugars, borderline blood pressure, weights are on higher side, waist hip ratio, and when we look at the lipids, basically it's a LDL, triglycerides which are on higher side, and it's specific to Indians. And along with that, 2 more risk factors which are common in Indians is a lipoprotein A, which is on a higher side, and hyperhomocysteine is a commonest risk factor. Smoking, industrial pollution, these are the other contributory factors for increase in the coronary artery disease. So when we talk about the coronary artery disease, how is the presentation? Basically, a presentation is acute coronary syndrome or a patient having a chronic stable angina. Today we want to look at the chronic stable angina, how it's treated, and what is the new management in that. When we look at the chronic stable angina, basically we are looking at the day-to-day activity patient is able to perform or not, how many episodes of angina he is getting, does he has to take the sublingual sorbitrate or a GTN sprays, and to reduce those incidences and to reduce the myocardial infarct incidences, what is the line of treatment? Basically, we all know that nitrates are very commonly used. Initial long-acting nitrates are available. They are given in eccentric doses to prevent the anginal episodes. Beta blockers forms the cornerstone of the therapy. Beta blockers act by reducing the blood pressure and the heart rate. This product basically reduces the myocardial oxygen consumption and increases the myocardial oxygen supply, and that's why beta blocker is a mainstay of therapy. And we all know that for a prevention of atherosclerosis or progression of atherosclerosis, atorvastatin is important, and ramipril forms the mainstay of the treatment for prevention of atherosclerosis or a reduction of blood pressure. This is how we look at the management of a chronic stable angina. Other molecule which we use is a nicorandil, and now ranolazine is a sodium channel blocker which is available. And when patient is on a treatment but still getting the angina, we have a newer molecule that is ivabradine, and basically ivabradine acts on a sodium sinusatrial node where the IF channels are there, and those are blocked and thereby reduces the heart rate. It doesn't talk on any atria or ventricles, so it has only negative chronotropic action and no negative inotropic action. So hemodynamic differences are not seen with ivabradine. That's why it's a good molecule to use in a chronic stable angina. And when we look at the role of ivabradine in acute coronary syndrome also, it plays an important role, because when patient is admitted in ICCU, lot of times we see that his heart rates are on higher side, BP is on lower side. There the ivabradine forms a good drug because it doesn't affect the hemodynamics. So ivabradine 5 mg BD or 7.5 mg BD we are using regularly in our ICCU to control the heart rate, thereby reducing the anginal episodes and not affecting the hemodynamics. That is the one use which we use it very commonly. Other drugs combination, can we use it with the beta blockers? Yes, I think when the heart rate with the beta blockers in a maximum doses which we are given and the BP is not allowing to increase the beta blockers, there ivabradine can be added very well, and the ivabradine controls the heart rate, thereby reduces the anginal episodes, and thereby patient's lifestyle or the patient's day-to-day activity, anginal episodes are not there. So this is the additional of ivabradine helps us in reducing the anginal episodes and the frequency in that patient. What is ivabradine? As I said already, that it acts on a sinus arterial node, blocks the IF channels and thereby reduces the heart rate. No negative inotropic action is there. So for a hemodynamic unstable patients or where the BP is on lower side and we want to reduce the heart rate, ivabradine plays an important role in reducing the heart rate and thereby reducing the myocardial oxygen demands. So in our practice, ivabradine can be used in a chronic stable angina patients who are already on beta blockers but heart rate is on a higher side. As I said already, that in ICC situations or acute coronary syndrome situations where the BP is on lower side but we want to control the heart rate, ivabradine can be used safely and it doesn't have any hemodynamic affection. So in acute coronary syndrome also ivabradine has a good role. Thank you. Great. In chronic stable angina, other drugs which we use is the calcium channel blockers, that can be amlodipine or nifedipine or a diltiazem which is used on a regular basis. In these patients also the addition of ivabradine plays an important role because it reduces the heart rate, reduces the anti-anginal episodes. As it acts as anti-anginal, it reduces the frequency of anginal episodes and the duration of anginal episodes. In patients with the calcium channel blockers, because the heart rate is affected and ivabradine plays an important role in controlling the heart rate, it can be a good addition. And patients who have a heart rate which is not very high or which is having a resting heart rate which is 60 to 70 also, it has been shown that the ivabradine also reduces the anginal episodes and the frequency, and ivabradine can be added to a patients whose heart rates are not on higher sides. Similarly, when we say that as an anti-anginal molecule, can we use ivabradine as a monotherapy? At present, there are no much data available for as a monotherapy use, but if we look at the trials, it has been added with the beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, and it's really a good additional molecule in a treatment of chronic stable angina, where anginal episodes and frequencies on higher side, and it's not getting controlled with a multi-drug therapy which is already patient taking. So addition of ivabradine will help us in reducing the anginal episodes and the frequency, and it can be added as a second line of drug.